All right, folks, here we are in Cleveland, ready to head for Boston. If he looks a little bit, and I look a little bit, it's because we just came from the workout room. Got to get that in before we hit the flight to Boston. Raptors at least going with a win, Eric. I mean, boy, Cleveland really epitomized all the stuff. I know you talked to Joey Graham last night, and he said they were right there, and he said it felt like they were in Toronto for a few years, kind of like right there and waiting to get over the hump, just on the tipping point. And last night they got a 15-point lead. Granted, it is in the first quarter, the first half, but the inability to put Toronto away, and it turns into what? A 34-point swing? Didn't Toronto have a 19-point lead?
Toronto's up 19, yep.
And Toronto comes away feeling good with a win. You look at the standings this morning, Philadelphia, the team that Toronto has a tiebreaker on right now by virtue of 2 wins, is holding down the 8th spot at 14 wins. I mean, Toronto's not that far behind, and I know it's crazy to be talking playoffs and thinking about it, but something we've always said, you've got to build. And if this young core with the likes of Bayless, who's already been in the playoffs, and Davis, Amir Johnson, who's got a championship ring, although he was on the bench in Detroit, I believe. If those guys, Dorsey, can get some playoff experience, it's great. And you're not breaking down that core just to get better, just to make the playoffs.
Well, that's what ultimately I think needs to be decided, right, Jonesy, over the course of this season and then into the offseason. Is this your core that goes forward? Do you use this core and then try and find the right veteran piece, or do you find a star or a budding star either on your team or via trade?
Yeah.
Because chances are, because of the team you are and how you've struggled, you're not going to attract that star via free agency. You're going to try, but you're probably looking at getting more second-tier type guys.
Yeah.
So the only other way to maybe find a star is via the draft.
Yeah.
Well, that's not necessarily a guarantee.
And it takes time.
No doubt about it. And then it's like, all right, well, is that young piece that you're getting, is he going to be a potential star? And is he going to be better than anything you've got right now? I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about Kyrie Irving right now and everything else, but who knows? And who knows health-wise now?
You never know.
Who knows where things might land in the draft, if he even declares and comes out and everything, all that stuff. So I'd say, as you just rhymed off, you got. I mean, if you want to even include Weems, who's been banged up, say Weems, DeRozan, Bayless, right? Dorsey,
Davis,
Johnson, Davis. Bargnani is still pretty young, even though he's a 5-year vet. He's still a young player. There's 7 guys right there. Now, you might not say there's not a star there. Maybe there isn't. But is that core, with the right pieces added, good enough to go to that next step? Probably not a championship step, depending on who those other pieces are.
Well,
so is it more important then to get the playoff experience for those 7 young guys and put yourself on the playoff map, which matters in NBA circles?
It does.
Hey, you were a playoff team, right? Oh, I like these pieces I saw on national TV and all that stuff.
Chicago Bulls, that's all we have to say. Last year, 8th spot. This year,
that close to missing it.
Yeah, this year, top 3. So it is important. A couple of pieces of house cleaning. Solomon Alabi sent back to the D-League in Erie.
Right.
So with the roster spot open from the Dupree transaction, Solomon back and forth, up and down. I wouldn't put it past Brian Colangelo to be cooking something up. We're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline. He still has that trade exception. Think about it. That's a big chunk still, quote, out of your lineup. I mean, if you could get a $13, $14 million player, who would they be? I mean, what would they look like? So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Raptors still kind of hanging in, good feeling, and all that last night was still a banged-up group. They come away with a win.
And just quickly, on the Alabi thing, I would guess, I could be proven wrong, I would guess based on the fact that you've got some bigs that are banged up, but you have enough to get by now with Bargnani back in terms of Bargnani, Johnson, Davis, and Dorsey. You send Alabi down. That, to me, sends a message in that, you know what, we're feeling okay about our front court. So if you're looking to get somebody via a 10-day, it's not going to be a big. I think you're probably looking at a point guard as long as you're continuing to have Calderon, Bayless, and Barbosa all with nagging injuries, banged up to some certain extent, if they even sign a 10-day.
Yeah.
We got to catch a bus to the plane.
That's right. Off to Boston. Talk to you there tomorrow, folks.